Hello and welcome to Get Better, a show about two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson.
And I'm Sam Cherry.
How you doing, Sam?
So we've been recording this show for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I said the date of our first recording a couple episodes ago. It might be one of the disappeared ones, but anyway, I said the wrong date because it was I think it was like the first edited date, which is some point in 2018. But I looked it back up because I knew that wasn't right. And we've actually been recording this show since November of like 2017.
Wow.
So wow, it's like 2.5 years or something that we've been recording this show.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think we'd have more than 30 episodes, but
we are getting better.
Well, and that's the thing is you know me, and so sometimes I come with a lot of really manic energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I go in these highs and lows where I'm like, let's record 25 shows and I'm gonna work on 80 projects, and I'm real high, not high on drugs, but I'm real high. And then as quickly as it came, all that energy just disappears, and I don't have it anymore. And then we won't record for several months. But now we're a contemporary show, and we just have to keep recording every single week, which I think is probably good for me. But but that's the kind of energy I'm bringing to the table, is what I'm telling you. I saw Frozen 2. That was very good. I also think it's weird that every show I just sort of tell you what media properties I consumed.
Yeah.
But that's sort of where I'm at. I don't particularly want to talk about my feelings, but I did watch Frozen 2.
Okay.
So
I have not seen Frozen 2. I barely saw Frozen 1.
It's pretty good. So that's the energy that I'm coming to the podcast with. I've got a cup of tea, and that's how I feel. So, how are you? Also, do you want to talk about the Bachelor finale?
We'll do that. But right now,
great.
right before the show started, I went to the grocery store. So while Sam has like existential fears, I think mine are much more like rooted in the right now. So I am all over Corona news. That has been my kick, my thing. So since we're contemporary, there's been a lot of Corona updates this week.
It's a pandemic now.
It's a pandemic, yes, as of today. Yes, it's a pandemic. And there have been a lot of closures of like big festivals as well as parades. The New York City St. Patrick's Day parade is like shutting down for the first time in like over 200 years. The only time it's happened. So that's good news. No, I'm joking. That's very sad. But at the same time, I think it's good. I was talking to someone the other day about just like what is the purpose of all these closures. And I think that a lot of it has to do not necessarily with like concrete numbers, but just like theoretically, how many people are we helping? It's like by closing down South by Southwest, it's like, yes, you could be helping no one, but you could theoretically be helping a lot of people. So it's like we're kind
risk
of dealing
management.
Exactly. So I think a lot of people are upset that there's like not going to be any concrete numbers of, because I still think it's going to get bad. And when it gets bad, I think a lot of people will be like, well, we should have had those things anyway. And it's like, yes, but it's probably, it might be better off. It's Schrodinger's closed NBA game. Like there's no way that we will know whether or not it will be good or not. But in the act of trying, we at least did something to help.
Yeah, we were actually planning on going on a trip to Europe at some point in the future, in the near future, and I think today we might still go, but I think today we kind of decided that it was like, we might actually have to cancel that trip, not because we're worried about coronavirus, and that is what's so weird about it is, and I don't want to downplay it. It's serious, I guess. I don't know, but like I said this last week or last time. It's like just the flu. So it's a really bizarre thing of like, I'm not worried about getting it. And we kind of were talking, there's a guy in my office who got sick. No, never mind. We were talking about how he definitely had coronavirus because he was like definitely ill for like a week. But never mind. I talked to him and he said, no, I went to the doctor. They said it was the flu. But anyway, people like have it and didn't know they had it and got over it and were fine. Like, I don't want to downplay the severity of it, but I am also like kind of confused about the whole deal. Like, the economy is crashing, and it's just like, I feel like I keep waiting for someone to be like, no, it's not just the flu. But as far as I can tell, and the reason we were canceling our trip was because we were worried that we would get over there and then we would get stuck. Like, if we were over there and got corona, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. I mean, we'd be sick and that would suck and that would not be a fun vacation. But like, we could also get it here in Nashville. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, there are cases in Williamson County, which is the county right south of us. So it's like, we could get it. I'm not that worried about it. But we don't want to get trapped on the other side of the world. And so, am I missing something? I don't get it. I don't get what the panic is about.
I think the panic is based on like two things. One is that the Wuhan coronavirus flu, that is the one that is causing all the brouhaha.
Sure.
Is it kind of came out of nowhere. And so we don't have any time to prepare for it.
We talked about this a little bit last week.
Yeah. So no need to revisit that. But yeah, came out of nowhere. No one knows where it, like, there's no vaccine or whatever for it. The other thing is it comes in, as far as I can tell, it comes in 3 phases. It goes from like a cold to, and you get better. Plug for our own show.
Got it. They're already listening to the show, so.
Yeah. And then
wherever podcasts can be found.
Yeah. Get better wherever podcast can be found. Flu, and then you get better. And the real kicker is at the end, which is pneumonia. And I think
that'll get you.
And it's like, pneumonia is the thing that will really mess up your entire system, because like, you're already so weak from the cold and the flu that preceded before it. And if you are not like an otherwise healthy person, if you go from like getting the cold to the flu, and your immune system is like totally tanked because it's all of its energy has been put to fighting that off, and then you get pneumonia, the chances of like a fatality are like pretty good. If you're not, if you're like a younger person, you're fine-ish. But, if you find yourself like with someone with like a lung condition or someone who is like, advanced in years, then it could be a really bad situation. So I think that the 3 parts, flu, cold, flu, and then pneumonia is really good. What's kind of scaring people, as well as, I think the alarm bells are starting to ring, because I think a lot of people will think they just have like a cold and they're like, I'm fine, I'll like go to work, whatever. And then by the time they get pneumonia, they've already given it to like a bunch of other people. Yeah. So it's kind of like a weird like moral issue of whether or not you should go out, because like, yes, you'll probably be fine, but you could affect someone who would not be fine.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense. And on that positive note, I want to maybe refocus, because me. I'm always trying to get my bag. So how can we profit off of this situation?
That's so funny.
We got to get our bag, Zach.
I was just looking into that. Okay. So I, like a big dumb dummy, or not a big dumb dummy, who's to say? I went to Walgreens right before this, and I got emergency, like a bunch of those emergency packets. Because they think they like boost your immune system, right? That's what it says on the packaging. The thing, it was $20, which is so many more dollars than I was ready to spend for a bunch of little emergency packets.
What is emergency? What is it made of?
I was looking into that right before the show.
Okay. I like this direction.
Yes, as the name suggests, emergency, the main ingredient is vitamin C.
Fucking nothing.
Yeah.
That shit's made up. We all know it.
And exactly. The government. It's 1,667% of your recommended daily allowance.
Fuck yeah. Great.
What? Like,
you know what? And take that extra allowance and give it to us. Okay, so now we need to get on this vitamin game. What other vitamins can we put in there?
Each serving is 1,667% of your daily recommended allowance.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that you're gonna want to get 100% of your daily recommended allowance.
That's what it's daily. That's what's recommended.
1,667 is so much more than your recommended allowance. Okay, they also have other ingredients.
You know what's cooler than 1,667%?
What?
1,000,000,000%. I'm saying, let's get some vitamin B's. Let's get some vitamin D's. Let's get some vitamin E's. Let's get all these vitamins. Get them in there.
Vitamin C gets so much press because it can help you see in the dark. And vitamin D gets so much press because of Sunny D.
What about vitamin G? Where are we at?
What about vitamin G? What about any of the vitamins? What about vitamin, H through N? Like, who's doing those?
Where are they at?
Is Z zinc? I think
zinc? I'm not sure.
I don't know. If I is iron, and Wolverine is made out of mostly metal, then I'm to assume that I need some I, some Z, some C for copper, not the bullshit C, whatever they're selling. I want the copper one.
Fuck that.
I want all of the other vitamins, the ones that are going to make me have bones of adamantium.
Yes, so I can get some vitamin C, A, S, H, cash. I'm saying we get all these fucking vitamins. They're just everywhere. Half of them are made up. They're just everywhere. They're just on the fucking street. Let's take them, put them together, make a gobstopper that's called Vitamin All, and we say, yo, this is it. Put this in your mouth, put this in your body, lay it next to your bed, put it in your stupid salt lamps or whatever those are doing. Who cares? Yeah. Burn it. I don't care. Get it in your aura.
That is that's a good thing to say because, think about it.
Get it in your aura.
Vitamin D is best if you drink it. Nope. Vitamin All is good in all forms. This is a candle. This is a pixie stick. This is whatever you want.
It can
get into your emotion. It is a vapor you shoot into your eyeballs. It is perfect for everything. You don't have time to make a smoothie. That's okay. Just shoot it like cocaine. Get it right up in those noses. And then you'll be fine. It's the exact same thing.
Wash your hair with it. Put it all over you. Vitamin All. It's for all of you. It's all the vitamins for all of you.
Make a blanket out of it. Sleep on it. And then you'll wake up. You'll be a gosh darn superhero. You can do whatever.
Just think about it. But make sure you pay me first. Give me some money so that you can have access to the Patreon exclusive Vitamin All thought processes, right? Yeah. We'll get a Slack channel. Just get on the Slack channel. Yeah, that will help you. That will give you the vitamins.
And very important, you cannot, and I cannot stress this enough, you cannot think about Vitamin All if you are not part of the subscription service.
No. It doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't even make any sense. Obviously, you need to give us your money, and then you will be able to get the vitamins.
Put you on the subscription service, and then and only then you can start benefiting from it. If you start thinking about Vitamin All right now before you get on the subscription service, it'll only hurt you.
It'll give you the opposite.
Vitamin,
you know what it'll do? It'll
Vitamin All.
That's what'll happen.
Yeah, Vitamin All is good because it is all good and is also all bad if you don't pay for us. We will give you all the good parts, and if you don't pay for it, all the bad parts. We have the control over it.
Zach, I'm glad that we solved this. I'm glad we fixed Corona. I hope everybody signs up for Vitamin All and they can cure all their diseases. We will cure all your diseases. I want to be clear about that. It cures anything.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Rickets, shin splints, other leg-based disorders, fixed. Those are the only ones I can think of for some reason.
Yeah, you scuffed your knee, Vitamin All. Roast some Vitamin All on that. You're good.
Warts, gout, eczema, but only on the lower half, but also the upper half, all of it.
Yeah, it's Vitamin All.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. And our we'll get in a little stagecoach and we'll go from town to town selling it.
That'd be so cool, man.
This is the podcast. Basically, if you are using it to sell something, the podcast is basically just it's an online stagecoach going from person to person.
Yes. Share this with your friends so they can give us all their money. What else is going on with you, bud? I have not been paying attention to coronavirus a whole lot, except for how it affects my specific plans. Do you want to talk about Bachelor? Because it was pretty buck wild. Also, hey, listeners, do you like this segment? Because we do it a lot. I mean, I don't think we've got any shows after this, so maybe it's over. But Do you like this at all?
There is one show that I will bring up at the end of our Bachelor conversation.
Oh my God. And we've both seen it for sure. And it's so good.
Possibly.
Are you talking about Love is Blind?
I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so
okay,
we can do it. We can do it.
It's great.
Do you want to do a pre? Do you want to go into reality check? Let's go into reality check.
I think so. I don't know what else we have. This is what I got. This is what I'm here. I got half a cup of tea and 45 minutes left of recording. So like, you
exactly.
talk, whatever you want.
I have a giant mason jar filled with emergency, which is I am jacked on vitamin C right now. I have too much of it, and I need to get it out into the airwaves.
You can never have too much unless you have all the vitamins. Okay, tell me your thoughts about Bachelor or whatever.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to Reality Check. It is a show where we check in on reality shows, and we are going to check in on the finale of The Bachelor. So if you have not seen The Bachelor this entire season, you're going to want to skip.
Like our show.
You're going to want to skip to time code the end of the show. This is going to be a doozy. We're going to work through a lot of stuff.
Honestly, it's not. I mean, it's a dumb show. Don't worry about it. Like, it's not. It's funny. It's like a funny. Not our show. I mean, Bachelor. But, like, it's not a spoilable show. You'll be fine. Just listen to it. Normally, I tell you, like, skip. I don't want you to spoil it. But, like, this is not a spoilable show. It's a stupid show.
Okay.
So don't sweat it. So don't skip. Listen to the episode.
So the Bachelor finale was great for having a 180 perception on all the people involved.
Real heel turn.
Except for Peter. He was the only one that stayed pretty consistent the entire time.
He's our Goku. He is our flat character arc. He is always stupid, and he will always be that way. It's fair. I did have a twinge at the very end when it was really all falling apart that I think I looked into his soul and thought like, oh, maybe I shouldn't laugh at this person's pain. But then I just pushed that feeling way, way, way deep down, and I continued to laugh at his pain. I did for a minute go like, oh, wait, no, this part isn't staged, and it's very sad. And then I said, no, push that way down. You can't. So it was funny again.
Yeah. So I think there's just like a lot of things. I am like so very glad that him and
Madison.
Kellyanne, I believe is her name. I always forget the names unless it's Madison. Hannah Ann, unless it's her or Barbara.
Barb, though.
Yeah, so we'll get to Barb. There's a whole
queen.
thing about
She's great.
Barb. Yes. So no, I'm very excited that Hannah Ann did not end up with Peter, and it did seem that because they had the engagement thing, it really did seem like she went from like she had a Taylor Swift like turn. She had a what's the name of that? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of the album off the top of my head.
Reputation. Yeah,
so she had a Taylor Swift Reputation turn. It went from like she is this goody girl that's like, Peter, I love you, woo, to this like very intense and very like not a woe is me, like a very like speaker mind. And the people when I was on, because I had the chance to watch it live, which was so much fun because I got to be on Twitter the entire time.
It was great.
And people were hypothesizing that she had hired a publicist because of how well that went for her. Like how she had just like hit every single one of her points as if they were like fully planned. Like she was not surprised at all what she was going to say. Like she walked in like guns blazing, ready to go.
It was weird. It was very weird watching the last episode because they obviously had real things happen to the real people. And the entire show up to this point has been like poorly choreographed. Like it's choreographed, but like not very well. And nobody's a very good actor. And so like that's part of the humor of the show is them trying to, it's like a middle school play about being in love. And that's really funny because they're not good at it. Like I don't actually think Peter's stupid. I think he's a bad actor. I think he's a little stupid, but I think he's mostly like a bad actor. Like he's just not good at acting. And so they're like, now's the part where you're sad. And he's like, oh, and he does that dumb guy face where he looks sad, or like now's the part where you're conflicted. I don't actually think he's like stupid. I just think he's not good at acting. And Hannah Ann had very much the same thing where it'd be like, now you're, and she would just kind of give these like weird performances that like you knew was staged, and that was the humor of the show. But the season finale, you showed their real like they and the audience, or at least me, we all sort of at one point realized that it's a real engagement and their real lives, and that all came crashing down like when they're at Peter's house ? And so it was just like, this makes me very uncomfortable that they're real people. I liked it when they were just bad actors in a bad play, but they're like, oh no, we're really engaged. And it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it was especially like all of the like revelations that Hannah Ann brought out to the table of just like him being conflicted and him reaching out to Hannah Brown from his season of The Bachelorette.
Weird, so weird. What a weird.
To seek some closure, and it was all like, I think that I really do believe that she had like everything ready to go when she walked into that like confrontation with him.
Oh my gosh, because the whole thing was so weird where he sits on the couch, and this is Bachelor Gold. It's so great, and it's right before everything turns. They come into the house. That's his house, I guess. I'm under the impression he lives with his parents. I'm pretty confused.
I think he lives with his parents.
But that was not his parents' house, because we've seen it a lot for some reason. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so they go to the house Airbnb that he's renting for this scene.
Whatever.
He sits on the couch
somewhere.
and who cares? He sits on the couch, and then she just sort of like half straddles him and just sort of covers his whole body with her whole body, as if someone said, imagine you're in love, and she kind of tried to do that, and then they cut to a close-up, and she immediately just sort of gets off of him, and then they start having this conversation that is not clear what they're talking about. I mean, you kind of get from context, but it is the most alien conversation I've ever heard. Because they never say we're breaking off the engagement. It's just like, I've been going through a lot. Yeah, this is my real life. Things have just been really hard. Why did you tell me? I thought it was best. And it's like, what's going on here? It was wild. I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but I thought that moment was like where it turned from Bachelor Gold of her sort of weird straddling him like she doesn't know how people sit.
Yeah.
And then to a very real moment of them breaking their engagement, which was wild.
Yeah. And it was like, it was filled with all like the season greats of like the girl walking away and then Peter going in to follow them. And usually when he goes in to follow them, it like all works out for him where like they're crying and he is just like, aw, you really do care. You do really care for me. But he like went to go see Hannah Ann and she was like still pissed. And then she like did the whole move where she took off the ring and then like gave it to him and like closed her hand. And then like just like dipped out of the house. And then like in the last moment, whenever he was going to say one last thing to her, she single-handedly brought back the talk to the hand motion and just like closed the door and they drove off. And I was like, wow, she really had an amazing heel turn of just being this like kind of like, because all the outfits she had up until that point were kind of like personifying this character of her being like on her way to the junior prom in like high school. And then like she comes out of nowhere with this like, I'm a bad girl now like attitude. Yeah, I think she was the victim of a lot of bad edits.
Yeah, but yes, I agree. But I also believe that she went into the show auditioning to be on Paradise and then fucked up and won. Like you can see in the engagement, she's like, uh-oh. I just wanted to be on Paradise and be a model and I don't know. Again, she's a real person, which makes me uncomfortable. So for the sake, I'm talking about the character of Hannah Ann, not the real person. It didn't work. I thought that would make me feel differently, but it didn't. It didn't work. Anyway, I really do think she was auditioning for Paradise and then fucked up and won and was like, what do I do? Like, I don't actually want to marry this guy. I just want to be on these shows for like ever and make a bunch of money and get a bunch of followers and then just be a famous person be an influencer. But it was just like, actually you win the show. And it's like, oh, that can't be how this goes.
And but she got it just great by I think saying everything that everyone was thinking about Peter the entire season.
Right.
By just like saying it out loud and being the first person to say it out loud. Everyone was like, yes, finally.
But there was one person more than Peter who was even more upset about this. And that's my girl Barb.
That's you. So, okay, with no jest, with absolutely no irony in your voice, what is your actual opinion on Barb?
We're doing our comedy show.
Dude, so
Hey, Zach. I'm going to pause the comedy ? Show for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's crazy. That's just not as funny. That's just not as funny of a joke.
You just kept saying my girl Barb, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, no,
she's a slay queen.
Sam and I had very different opinions.
Yeah, she's a queen,
person.
and I love her. See, that was a joke. I was kidding for the show.
Oh, got it.
I was kidding. It's funny because you have your expectations and then you subvert them. No, Barb rules. She's obviously the coolest character, and she hates her son and her son-in-law, and it's really cool. Awesome. It's great. It's very good to watch. I liked it a lot.
It was really good that she showed up to just like, it was like a last second, like in a movie when they do like an exposition dump to help you understand exactly what just happened because they should have been doing it the entire time. Yeah. She was a really good last second like exposition of why Peter acts the way that he does, and also like rewards bad behavior. It was an excellent like, wow, oh, that's the reason why. It's because his mom keeps him at like, she like loses it at the drop of a hat, and is like rewards bad behavior, and then when like someone is happy, they're like, nope, gonna put a stop to this.
Right. So Barb is very upset because she loves Hannah Ann more than anyone. And then Madison comes back. Honestly, I'm getting bored explaining this. Whatever, some girl who had beliefs, and that made Barb really mad for some reason.
Yeah.
And not because, like, I'm also Christian. It's just weird to be like, why do you have religious beliefs? It's like, what a weird thing to be. Like, you're not really mad about being late for 3 hours, surely.
I don't see. I think it was like
it was weird.
I think it was like Madison was the victim of some sly production.
Yeah.
Where they sent Hannah Ann in first, and she did the whole like, I love your son more than anything in the entire world. I'll do anything for him. I will like whatever. I'll live whatever lifestyle he wants.
Sure.
And then Madison was just like, I'm not down for that. And
I'm a person.
Yeah, I'm a person. And the mom was like, nope, can't have that.
I don't really understand why she... I missed that episode, so I got the footnotes. I got it explained to me. But was it ever explained why she was late? Why she was 3 hours late? It's a television show.
No. It was never explained why she was late. They had a conversation outside, and they kind of made it seem like that was the reason why she was late. But I think it was just like some production thing, you know? It wasn't like she actually was like, I'm not going to that house. I think just like some production things got in the way.
Do you think, okay, I'm coming up with this fresh, and so I was not like analyzing the way they were talking. I'd have to go back and watch it, which I will not. Do you think that was contrived? Do you think that she wasn't late and they were just like, look, Mom, you need to not like her? So, and then the internet was mad and was like, well, what do we fucking do about this? And so they were like, or whatever, or the storyline required it. We're like, no, we're going to have this turn at the end where Madison comes back. So we're going to need to talk about why she didn't like her. We did the religious thing, didn't go well, or didn't play how we wanted, or something. So they're like, I don't know. Because Madison didn't like seem to be like, well, here's what happened, or like, yeah, I'm sorry I was late. Like, it didn't seem like they wanted to really hold on that moment, because I don't think it would make sense under examination of like, wait, sorry, you're still mad and you want them to not get married because she was late and you were tired, and you recognize that intellectually, but you still don't like her. Like, what? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out as an option.
No, I think that the mom is. Okay. I really think that like the mom is just really like,
doesn't like her.
She's just really petty and just like really, really loved Hannah Ann, and just like I think her mind was made up that Hannah Ann was like the winner, and then like I think in her opinion, like Peter totally like fumbled it by like still being like into this other girl, like inexplicably as far as she could tell, because Hannah Ann is like such a catch.
Sure.
And then I think that they just like didn't like her because like she was the one that goofed up the whole thing. Like she like they had their entire life in order and like everything was perfect, and then this other girl comes out of nowhere who left 2 days earlier. Sure. And like it was just like not fully into Peter and like not willing to sacrifice her entire self for him. And then I think that the mom just perceived that as like she's not really in love with him. She just wants like the fame or whatever.
Which, to be clear, just so hey, if you haven't watched Bachelor, just so we're clear on what the religious beliefs are, I realize now that I said that they might not understand what we're talking about. So Hannah Ann either hasn't ever had sex, or either way, she doesn't want to have sex with Peter until they're married. I actually wasn't clear. I mean, I don't know. But what remains is that she doesn't want to sleep with Peter until they're married. And so in Bachelor fashion, there is the fantasy suite date, which is the one that I missed. So I don't have all the details. But there was a fantasy suite date where traditionally the Bachelor or the Bachelorette has sex with all the contestants. Now you might be saying, is this prostitution for entertainment? And I would let the law decide, not me. But there's a scene in every season where the guy has sex with all the girls, or the girl has sex with all the guys. It's how the show goes. Mm-hmm. And she said, Madison, hey, here's my beliefs. Here's how I feel about this. I'm not going to sleep with you, but also I would, if you really are going to marry me, I don't want you to sleep with them, which, religious beliefs aside, is a reasonable thing to say. I don't want to get engaged 6 days after you sleep with 2 other girls. And I think that's reasonable. And so that, and then Peter, being Peter, of course, slept with the 2 other girls and was like, why are you mad? And so then she, feeling betrayed and upset, and also sticking to her word of like, hey, if you sleep with these other girls, I'm not going to be with you because, you know, she gets off the show. And for whatever reason, Barb was like super mad about that. Like that's the thing, is it wasn't like she was saying like, we can, you have to join my mud cult and you can only eat like berries from the woods, because I'm sure Madison is of course a listener to the show. No, she was just like, I, 1, have religious beliefs, but 2, just don't want him to have sex with girls right before we get engaged, which seems reasonable. And Barb just couldn't see that. She couldn't see that as a normal thing. She's like, no, Peter, I don't know. I don't know what her deal is, but her being upset was very, very funny. Oh, and my wife has brought me, is this for me? My wife has brought me some pizza. Thank you. It's very hot apparently.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I think it was, and also like to the credit of like the family, I think they all kind of just ganged up against Madison because they were living 2 separate lifestyles. You know, I think they just couldn't, like, that's why when Barb was talking about whenever Madison was there at the final little moment, Barb said that Peter has to fail to succeed. Where I think they really thought this was just like they were not going to be compatible. They were not going to be a good couple. So because of that, I think that the entire family was just against Madison because they thought their lifestyles didn't match up. And then the mom was going to be like, was just waiting on one big "I told you so."
That she wanted.
At least that was my perception of it. I think it's like the mom just didn't, like, you know, they lived together presumably. And I think the mom just really, really liked Hannah Ann. And then Madison was just some church girl from Auburn. And she was like, you know that Peter's ass is not getting up for church on Sunday.
True.
You know?
The other thing, I have a thing about Hannah Ann, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Shoot. Oh, here's my other thing about the engagement getting broken off. And this is my Bachelor truther. Also, we didn't get any of the pregnancy stuff. None of the PA.
Yeah, no pregnancy, no production stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so I have 2 truther things. 1, maybe the production leaks those rumors so that we will watch the television show.
100%.
Is fair, and you know what? I'm probably gonna keep watching the television show. But number 2, while Peter's engagement was like what an AI who has watched 10,000 engagements would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like where that one part where he was talking about the other girl. I think it's
where
really.
he said Madison. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was very funny and also very weird.
Because he said Madison left 2 days ago, and like he was like, people on Twitter were like, Madison left you 2 days ago.
Right, but also the way he says it, where he's like, my heart has decided on someone. Madison left 2 days ago. It's like, why would you? And I understand why he would say it, because it's a television show and they're trying to build tension, and they did. But it's weird because then, yeah, she says later, and you're like, oh, I forgot this was a real moment in her. Like, she didn't know. She didn't know it was a bit. But when they're breaking off the engagement, she points out how weird that is, which, number one, totally makes sense. But then she's also like, yeah, it was so hard for me to hear that, you know, your heart is split in two ways. And Kelsey did the same thing earlier in the season where she's like, it's so hard for me to see him go on dates with other girls. And it's like, hey, guys. You know that's how the show works.
Yeah,
like,
you knew what it was and you signed up.
But like kind of like you didn't think that he would be split between two girls. What Bachelor have you ever watched? Like that's it's a game show. You came on a dating game show. You're in the final two. He's considering between the final two. At least you could understand like the kayfabe of like you get that he has to say that even though he's clearly been going for you the entire season. Like he has to at least do the, you know, the kayfabe. He has to like pretend.
Yeah.
What? But anyway, it was radical. I don't think I'm ever gonna watch this show again. So if you hate Reality Check, good news. I'm not gonna watch this show ever again.
Yeah, definitely. I was whenever they did the Bachelorette reveal, I was just like, wow, I do not care about this at all.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm eating pizza. Give me 1 second. Usually, and I see why they do this, but the Bachelorette is someone that everybody liked from the previous season. So it would be, I don't know. I didn't like any of them.
Yeah. They really goofed.
It'd be Victoria F.
Oh, really?
Which would be radical. Yeah, it would be like one of the girls from the season you just watched. Then she's the Bachelorette.
Yeah, but Victoria F was like, she didn't seem like people liked her.
Oh, Zach, it's the only character whose name I remember.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't know any of those girls.
It would be Kelly, the lawyer, Kelly.
It would be Kelly, the lawyer, Kelly. So it'd be red hair, red car. And anyway, so then you're like, oh, I'm familiar with this character. I cared about them, or I really hated them, or I thought they were crazy. So now I'm invested. But I guess what my friends who watch the show more regularly told me, they were like, yeah, this season wasn't good and nobody really liked it. And nobody really liked any of the girls, so they just picked an old favorite from an old season. But it had the effect on me where like, well, I've never seen this person before, so I don't care, and I'm not going to watch it. That might be one and done for Bachelor.
Yeah, that I think that I will do the thing that you do, which is I get just spark notes every once in a while, and then if things are really popping off, like it's a good season, I'm like, okay, well we'll see what happens, and start investing more time. But for right now, using this one as my marker, I will say that no.
Do you want to talk about Love Is Blind?
So here's the thing about Love Is Blind. I am coming fresh off of finishing The Circle, which I love. I love The Circle, and like the next logical step, I think, is Love Is Blind.
Of course.
I watched the first episode of Love Is Blind, and I hated it. So I do not know if I'll be continuing on Love Is Blind. I was just talking about this with Carrie. I do not like. Both of us were just like, oof, this is not good.
What? Okay, that's interesting. What? I'm about halfway through the series.
Yeah.
What didn't you like about it? Because and this isn't just my whole like appreciating art thing, although maybe it is. Maybe it's because it's a medium show and I'm looking for things to like. I don't know. I loved it. I am loving it.
Wow.
Loving it.
Was wild.
So what didn't you like about it?
I did not like any of the people. I think that I was kind of looking for one person to get attached to, and like every single one of them, just like in at least 1 to 2 moments, they totally fumbled it, like in just
true.
And so I was like, okay, this is a weird concept. This seems like a heightened version of a TLC show. So I don't know that I like this concept that much. I know that at a certain point, probably very soon, they leave those pods and then things get more dramatic, whatever. Also in the season bumper, like when it's like coming up on this season of Love is Blind, they show you like
who
they show
married.
you everything. They show you everything. So I was like, all right. I'm like, okay.
When we started showing the weddings, we like turned off the teaser because we're like, why would I watch? What are you doing? Like, I don't. Yeah. You're showing me people's faces. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. They really show, like, I was like, they need to take a lesson from like whoever is doing the bumpers for The Bachelor, because they're doing a great job of like just revealing just enough information, or like doing enough editing in certain places to make it seem like someone's reacting to a thing that's not happening. They're doing great. That and like, so I didn't really like the people. I didn't really like their chemistry, and I didn't find anything like endearing about it. Then again, I think that I'm coming straight off of the romance of the century, which is Shubham and Joey, and that was so spicy. So maybe, something has to develop. But like the one where the guy proposed to the girl at the end of the first episode.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, what the?
Like, a lot happens in that first episode. I was
just like, okay, I guess. Yeah, that's true love, dude. That is love. And the production is weird. It is a weirdly produced show. Like the thing that I noticed is like every single time they do anything that is not like a direct conversation, like them walking down the hallways, them like meeting a bunch of different people, it's kind of time lapse, they will play a song, but it like is clearly like they hired someone to write like 20 seconds of a song, and it's just like, I'm having the best day of my life, and then it kind of just fades off into nothingness. Or like it's that where it just feels like someone wrote a bunch of jingles, and if you notice it becomes extremely distracting.
Okay.
So that is weird, and I think just like it, I cannot see myself getting behind if it continues in that really weird produced sort of frame. I can't see myself getting behind it, and based on the bumper, it's going to be like it's kind of like, it seems like it's like this is an experiment we did to see if like love really works like this, but it doesn't, and it's like the rest of the season is just like, now watch these dumb people fight.
Here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's a the way the show is made and paced is bizarre. So there are a bunch of characters that you actually haven't met yet, because you don't meet. There's 24 people in the pods. Yeah. And you don't meet most of the characters.
There's 24 people in the pods, and there are 20 forgettable people in the pods.
Well, so that's the thing, is they give you like 4 characters in episode 1, and then they give you another 4 characters in episode 2. So there's 2 things. One, there's a lot more people than that you're going to meet a lot more characters than they show in episode 1. But weirdly, you're also not going to meet a lot of characters. Like, there are people who you see in the background who you never talk to. They just or that you do talk to, but you never see them in the pods. You just see them in the like house, which is bizarre. The show is paced really weird. I think it's interesting. I actually don't know what's going to happen next, because no show is paced like this. Like, I actually don't know what, like, maybe someone will get proposed to next scene. Maybe they'll break up. Maybe someone will quit the show. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen, because it's just a bizarre pacing. But I don't think it hurts the show. I think it's fun to watch. I agree. So anyway, all that to say, there are more likable characters who show up in episode 2. There's 2 people in particular that I'm thinking of that are like, oh yeah, they're likable. I don't particularly care for any of the couples, but it is the first dating show I've ever seen. It's kind of like that scene in The Bachelor. Oh wait, we have to take a quick pause.
Okay.
So remember when they told Peter, like, hey, Hannah Ann, she's not coming. That was just made up, right? Like, that was fully whole cloth made up.
Because it's like, she's not coming, and then it's like,
no,
okay, she's coming.
Footage not found.
Yeah. And they do that thing where it's like her sitting on the bed, or like laying down in the bed.
Like a robot
and, like,
that got turned off.
Yeah, yeah. And like people were like, that is not something you do when you're missing something. That is just like
You put the dress on.
Yeah, I put the dress on, and I'm just gonna take just a second to just like chill.
I'm gonna lay on my back, but only partly on the bed.
Yeah.
Like someone who's never seen another human being lay down before.
Yeah. Because like it immediately, the full turn is like, okay, she's coming, and then it's like you could have Chris Harrison like turn around and do like a little wink and be like, best prank ever.
Yeah,
like,
but no footage of her ever like talking to a producer, talking off camera, like I can't do this. It's literally she's like getting the dress on. She's like, this is gonna change my whole life. And then Chris is like, she's not gonna be there. And then Chris is like, she's gonna be there. And then cut to her, and she's like in the car, like, this is gonna change my whole. It was fully made up. It was completely contrived. And
100%.
Well, when you said all the cutting, I was like, oh yeah, they made me think that someone was pregnant for like 6 weeks because they always showed that scene of him on the bed being like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And turns out it was this completely contrived moment of like Hannah Ann's not coming, but like, yes, she is. Anyway,
and then
just
they do that
talk
one.
About it.
I also wanted to say that one thing where Chris, there's two things that Chris did that were funny. Like over the course of the season, he was like, and trust me, like if you think you know what's going on, you have no idea. And then it's like, oh, the thing that we thought was going to happen happened. Okay,
cool.
And then at one point in the finale, he says, no one knows what's happening, not even me. And it's like, what? Like, sure. Did you erase your memory? Like, what are you talking about, Chris? Like,
so anyway,
it's your show.
Much like that scene in Bachelor where she's in the bathroom and she's yelling at Peter, and it's like, oh, she's a real person. What I like about Love is Blind is it is the only dating show I've ever seen that feels 100% real. Like the pods, they're actually having those conversations. Like it is the foil to Bachelor, where Bachelor is completely produced, and that's what's funny about it. Like Love is Blind is so interesting because like, oh no, these are real people having real conversations 100%. Like they're actually doing this real thing, and it's so believable. And it's not believable, it's real. Like they're I think, I mean, I can find out and be different, but their conversation seems so natural, and like it makes sense to me that it would be real. It's like, well, I mean, we're just gonna set up these pods and then we're gonna record. You know what I mean? Like, and they're real people, so like why like they're not saying anything so crazy that I would think like, oh, this is set up. Like, no. And the premise, it's like, if I was making this show, yeah, if everyone was boring, maybe I would contrive something. But also what they're talking about, it's just like, no, this seems like normal conversation. So and as it progresses, you see like these real relationships developing and falling apart. But it's so interesting because it's a really refreshing look at a dating show. It's the only dating show I've ever seen where I thought like, oh, this is actually real people dating, as opposed to like Flavor of Love or something where it's like a game show. Like it's not a game. Like it is kind of a game. I mean, Love is Blind is kind of a game show, but they always refer to it as an experiment. But I never believe it as like, these are contestants on a show. It's like, no, these are people who are actually trying to get married and mean it. And they're talking to real people who they actually fall in love with. The premise, you get a little like, hey guys, unless you think these guys are wizards who picked perfect people, are you a little, I mean, like, shouldn't there be a little bit of a red flag of like, yeah, you are falling really, really in love with this person. Why doesn't that happen in the real world? Like, maybe it's something about this situation. Yeah. Not that you can't see each other, but just like the intense nature of the game or the experiment that is like, making you, it's summer camp, like you're doing summer camp, but
because like a lot of people are like, getting engaged after like a week, and it's like, it's summer camp, it's because you
have a crush. And I think it would honestly be a more honest and interesting show if they just dated. And maybe like I know you have to up the stakes because it's TV, and like maybe they have to move in together or something, but like because very quickly, spoilers, they see each other. When you get engaged, they see each other. And so every couple that gets engaged sees each other. And then the show kind of progresses, and they've got like 3 weeks, and then they get married. And so almost immediately, the show stops being about whether or not love is blind, because they can see each other for the rest of the show. It's more like stops being about like, can people fall in love without seeing each other? It's like, can people stay married and get married after knowing each other for 4 weeks? You know, like that becomes the premise of the show. So that's a little weird. But I mean, it is a really, really honest depiction of these real people in a completely fabricated situation. But it's Truman Show, right? Like everything around them is made up, but they are not faking. It's not like, oh, these are bad actors, or even like, wow, they're really good actors. It's like, no, these people are just real people put in this situation and reacting to it. And unlike any other dating show I've seen before, where it seems mostly contrived. So I like it. That's
okay.
That was what I enjoyed about it, was that it seemed so real, and the pacing. Always, I didn't know where it was going to go next, because kind of anything, because it's real, because it's not like, and now we go to the fantasy suite, and now we're doing a 2-on-1 date. It's like, no, these people are just together, and like, I don't know, they might break up, they might make out. We don't know what's going to happen, because it's actual people in an actual relationship.
Very well. I will spend a little more time seeing what Love is Blind is about. I mean, I only saw the first episode and it didn't grip me there, but sure. I mean, everyone I know is talking about it, and talking about it in these, you know, the terms that you said, that it's interesting and it is compelling. So maybe, you know, I'm just a stickler, and, you know, maybe I'm just so in love with The Bachelor's overproduced that I can't handle the gritty realness of a real relationship.
I don't know. You know, watch it or don't. We haven't watched it for a couple of episodes, although we'll probably finish it this weekend. Yeah, it's a good show. We also did 50 minutes of reality check, so that's,
oh my gosh, this is
the
reality check.
I would say maybe this is episode 30. The boys talk. See, if we say the boys talk about Bachelor, no one's gonna listen to the episode. I think. I don't know, Zach. I don't know what people listen to the show for.
That's the next thing, you know. We have, now that we have the schedule, and now that we have like the episodes coming out, we can get actual real time results back. So now we know what people like and we don't. This is like the next phase of getting better.
So I'll double down and I'll say, yeah, the episode's episode 30. The boys talk about Bachelor.
The boys talk about The Bachelor.
Okay, so here's the thing. Maybe this is what all those people out in California who listen to our show for some reason.
Yeah.
Because I texted you and I was like, more people in California listen to our show than in Kentucky, where you live. Which is
wild.
And you were like, who do we know in California? I was like, bro, I don't know anybody in California. These are just actual regular people that I guess listen to our show. And like, there's some international ones, but it's like, yeah, but I mean, that could be they listen to one episode and it logged it. But no, it's like, no, it's enough listens. We have actual listeners in California.
So what's up, Cali?
Hit us up. Or don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
Meet the Fockers too, fockedup@gmail.com. Shoot us an email.
Yeah.
Do you like Bachelor? You're our main demographic. My friends, Zach's friends, and our friends in Cali. You know, you guys are the ones listening to the show. So let us know if you like it. Again, as always, I don't think that will really change. Because much like Love is Blind, this is an actual friendship that
exactly. This is
actually
not contrived, not produced at all.
It's produced a little.
Well, I mean, not produced like, you know, we're not like coming in like, oh, Sam, like, do you have, did anything crazy happen to you this weekend? You know, or like something like that. True, like, what's going on? Like, what are you plugging?
Yeah. That's true. But, yeah, hit us up or don't. I don't, never mind. I lost it. I lost it. I can't plug. I'm not good at it. All right.
See you bye forever.